recently, just last weekend, we went to Chiller Theater, and Ace Frehley was there. And just to give a little bit of backstory, this is not to completely bash Ace Frehley. I'm a huge Ace Frehley fan. I'll always love Ace, because I'll always love classic Kiss. The original, the old school Kiss from when I was a little kid. It's like watching Alf or something, or you know, Mom's chicken noodle soup. You just love it, gives you that warm feeling. When I hear Kiss Alive 2, I'm still all in on that. But all I can say these days is, what the fuck, Ace Frehley? And why I'm saying this is because it has gotten so out of control that I don't even know anymore. I don't know how Kiss fans do it. I don't know why they do it. They do it. They line up in droves. But the prices and the chaos and the just total insanity that takes place at one of these signings is just absolutely crazy. We were there, and, you know, I've met Ace several times. It's never been enjoyable. I'm sorry it hasn't. Again, I love Ace, but...
He's always in a bad mood. He always makes you feel like you're inconveniencing him, like... all the money that you're paying. He just doesn't want to be there. Yeah, he doesn't want to be there. He doesn't care about you. He doesn't care that you're, you know, that you got out of bed one day because of him. You know, he just wants your money and bon voyage. It's
now, I mean, through the years, I used to be a Kiss dealer back in the day. I was in several Kiss tribute bands. So I've been around in this Kiss scene my whole fucking life. And I mean, the thing is when I was a kid, and I'll tell you my first experience meeting Ace Frehley. When I was a little kid, I was about... maybe 10, 11 years old. I wasn't old enough to go to club shows or, you know, anything like that, obviously. So I was a little kid, but my dad used to take me to the Kiss Expos that used to occur back up in Rhode Island, and the promoter of that show, this guy Lou, had said that he could get my Kiss Creatures of the Night album signed. Now, when my father had Eric Carr sign it at the Kiss Expo in Providence, and then I stood in line at Strawberries when I was a little kid to meet Paul and Gene to have them, you know, them two sign it, and I was missing Ace. And this guy Lou, who was the convention promoter, said, I can get you back there to, you know, just to get Ace to sign the thing, and then that's it. You gotta go. You know, because I was too little, and I was super excited. And I went backstage. It was at the Strand in Providence, and I met Ace Frehley, and I went in backstage and was like, I had the record. I was super nervous, and I was like, you know, little kid, Ace, my hero Ace, could you sign my record? And he, you know, he's sitting there on the couch with two girls, and he's like, the fuck you want me to sign that for? And I was like, totally floored, because I'm little.
He's a child.
I'm a child. I'm like totally floored.
He's not some guy like, yo, Ace, Ace guy, hey guy, yeah, like.
I was just like scared, like, you know what I mean? Because it's Ace Frehley. I'm like, I was literally scared.
Yeah.
And when I said that, I thought I upset him. I thought, oh no, like, what did I do? I brought the wrong thing, you know, whatever. And he was like, but he grabbed it out of my hand, he signed it, and he just kind of like threw it back at me. And I was like, and I left there thinking like, I pissed off Ace Frehley. You know what I mean? Which is a lousy feeling for a while. And so it took years before I wanted to meet him again. And then I did, and just each time I went to his birthday bash thing, and he was just like, he didn't give a shit there either. And it's like, I watched, you know, I saw a little kid go up to him with a stupid little toy guitar, like fucking that big. Stupid now. One of them dumb things they made in Spencer's. The little tiny guitar. And, you know, asked him if he could just sign his toy guitar, you know. And Ace was like, nope, no guitars, you know. And I'm just like, holy shit, dude, it's a little kid. Like, what's wrong with you? You know, like, that's just all the things I've seen over the years. Like, people would go up to him and be like, you changed my life.
These are not nice guys. They're just not.
You changed my life, Ace. You were my hero. And you know, and they show him the Ace tats and the sleeves and the fucking the chest pieces of Ace Frehley, and it doesn't matter.
Like,
he's just nice. Like, great, cool, whatever.
Sunglasses on, that's great.
Yeah, like
every time. I showed him my tattoos. I avoided meeting anyone from Kiss like the plague after meeting Eric Singer, because he was such a douche. I don't care anymore, so I'm just gonna say it like it is. I was really big into into Kiss when I was younger, and then when I turned 18, I started going to Kiss conventions, and my bubble was popped right away. So I stopped caring very early, and I got burnt out on it. I'm like, why am I buying this merchandise? Why am I paying so much for concert tickets when these guys don't give a fuck about me? I get butthurt real easily over that stuff. So I was out of the game very early. Yeah. And then I just started listening to other stuff. I always, like you said, always love Kiss, but when you meet somebody from a band that is like everything from the moment you wake up to the moment you go to sleep, and then you meet somebody and they just don't give a shit. You're like, I'm done. I'm done. It's happened with almost every band that I've ever been a big fan of. Luckily, all the music I listen to now is like, you know, I don't meet these people. They're way before my time. Unfortunately, they've all passed on for the most part. But it's like, that will always be perfect for me. Yeah. But the problem is, like, when I met Eric Singer, I got in line and I was excited. My brothers were real little. My brothers liked Kiss, and they were excited for me to meet Eric Singer, too. And they were like, okay, yo, can you get us each a drumstick sign? I was like, yeah. So I went up, I got in line to meet Eric, and I had a couple things for him to sign. And he was just so rude that I was, like, afraid to ask him for a picture.
Yeah.
So then, after I met him, and he's like, you know, like, through the whole thing, I'm like, oh, okay, thank you so much, it was so nice to meet you, blah, blah, blah. So I walk away, and, like, you know, the people I was with are like, why didn't you get a picture? I'm like, I'm pretty sure I pissed him off. So I kind of felt weird asking him for a picture. Like, no, go ask him, you go ask him. So I had gone back, and at this point, it's like right before he's about to leave the room for the signing. And I had gotten in line, and like one of those handlers was like, no. I'm like, I'm sorry, I came through earlier, I just wanted to get a picture, I forgot to get a picture. I'm like, alright, fine. So then they tell Eric, like, oh, it's one more person, and of course, like, this is like, you know, you know.
Yeah.
So I get up there in line to meet him, and he won't come around the table, which he's at the table at the end. So it's not like it would have been like a whole hell of a lot of work for him to just walk the 5 feet. And he leans over the table, and he grabs me here and pinches me hard, and just looks like a miserable bastard in the picture. And from that moment on, I really started losing a lot of love for Kiss. And it, you know, it's stupid because it's just Eric Singer. Like, who the fuck is he? Yeah, I said it. I don't care anymore, so I'm sure I'll get hate over that. I love Kiss, real Kiss, and Eric Singer, or Eric Singer, no, Eric Carr. But yeah, it's just like, it sucks because it's like, it pops your bubble, and it's like, that's why I didn't want to meet Ace. So when you told me we're like, Ace is at Chiller a couple years ago, you should just meet Ace, you know, since you don't really care as much as you used to, just meet him, just to say you did. So I did, and he started off all right, you know, it started off fine, he signed something for us, and then, like, I was like, I guess I got comfortable in the fact that it was going better than I expected, and I showed him my tattoos. I have 2 tattoos inspired by him, and he's just, that's nice. I'm like, okay, fuck it. I hate Kiss again. Yeah. Stormed out of there, you know.
I know. Well,
and I just felt like such an ass. So it's like, you know, and then obviously Kiss has famously gotten even more obnoxious with their pricing. Not just Ace, you know, but other members of Kiss just completely extorting their fans. Like with the Kiss cruise, that went fucking crazy with prices. Like all their shows.
Yeah, I mean the meet and greets, the backstage meet and greets. They were the first one to go and charge like $1,000 to meet them backstage. And this was like years and years ago. They were the first ones to do that, and you know, it has gotten to be like super exploitive. You know, when it comes to like, oh, you want to stand on stage and stand where I stand on the stage. Okay, $5 grand, or you want a smashed guitar that I'm going to play this night for 5 seconds? Well, that's going to be another $5 grand. I mean, yeah, Kiss is like one of those bands now where it's like you got to be like rich to enjoy them.
Yeah. And there are plenty of Kiss fans with very deep pockets.
Sure.
And because of that, I guess, because they're like, well, this is, you know, Gene says it's $5 grand, then, okay, whatever, here's $5 grand, I just want this experience. Like, you know, it's good to be able to do that, but what about that fucking, you know, that 20-year-old kid who's, like, busting his ass at Burger King, you know, trying to make ends meet, that, like, you know, listens to Kiss every day, and it gets him through the fact that his dad sucks or whatever, and he wants to do that, but he can't because he doesn't own a company.
Yeah,
I mean, cleaning toilets at Burger King. He can't go pay Gene Simmons $5 grand to like touch his ass or whatever. Like, you can't do that.
Yeah.
It's just like, that's what I hate about this. Like, that's what makes me not want to be a fan. That's what takes the love out of it for me, because it's so fucking ridiculous. They don't need the money.
Yeah.
They definitely don't need the money, and they never will. You know, they're rich beyond rich, and their royalties will continue to pay their families for fucking centuries. So it's like, the fact that you have the nerve, like, you know, oh, it's all about the fans, all about, it's not, though. It's not. It's about the fans.
No, that's about the selling point. It's about it's about the fans' money. That's always been a selling point where it's like, we'll say it's about the fans. And for a while, you felt like that. I mean, maybe because I came from a different era, of Kiss fan where I
wasn't
can
as bad
remember.
Back then.
No, like when I was a little kid, I was fortunate enough that I got into Kiss as a fucking 2-year-old, so it's like I was small enough to be able to get my parents to take me to different things, and I got to stand outside of like 94HJY in Providence and get to meet Gene, and he'd sign some stuff and get a photo with him, and just different appearances that they did over the years. I was at Strawberries when they showed up to promote a record, and they signed stuff, and then they did the Best Buy thing in New York City where they took pictures with the fans, for free. You just had to buy Kiss Alive 4, and
which
it was like
you were going to buy anyway.
And you got a signed CD booklet of Alive 4, and you got to meet, I mean, that kind of stuff. Same thing with the box set when it came out, Paul and Gene.
It's like you got to stand in line, but it's free.
It was worth it, but you didn't feel like you were being taken advantage of. Like if you stood in line, like, because I did. I stood in line for 12 hours to meet them, with my friend, to get the box set signed, and it was worth it for those 30 seconds with them. You're like, this is worth it. It's good times, and you never felt like you were being exploited. That new thing, that's like new Kiss. Yeah. There's something that happened like from box set back. Yeah. You didn't feel like you were being exploited, but from like box set, from like Sonic Boom Kiss on, it's like total exploitation. And I think what's happened is the former members, I guess, have maybe caught on to it, and they're like, we want a piece of that pie too. They're making all this money, I want to make it too. But there comes a point, because your fans come from all walks of life. Kiss fans, not all rich. I have met Kiss fans that are doctors and lawyers, and I've met Kiss fans that literally live in their car. So, and every fan should matter. That's the whole thing, is literally every single fan should matter. Don't matter if you're broke, rich, fucking whatever you are. If you're a fan and you've supported them and given them this life, then they should matter just as much as the rich doctor that can give you $5 grand for a meet and greet. I mean, that's just how it should be. This like screwed up logic that a lot of musicians have. It's like ego kicks in, and then all of a sudden it's like, nope. Dave Grohl, nope, I will only sign for charity. It's like, well, what about the little kid that's standing there that fucking loves the Foo Fighters? Fuck him because he's not part of a charity? Like, come on, man. Like, every fan should matter. Every fan. I know people get shit signed so that they can resell it on eBay and all that other stuff, but who gives a shit? It's scribble, and does it really take money out of your pocket? If you take a marker and you scribble on someone's thing, does that take money out of your pocket?
It's like maybe if you were a little more, like, chill with signing for fans, maybe your autograph wouldn't go for so fucking much on eBay, causing resellers to get into the game in the first place.
Flood the market with your stuff, and then it won't be worth anything.
It's signed for free, flood the market, everybody's happy.
For whatever reason, it's just not that way. But for me, this past weekend, and this is kind of what this is about before we went on this tangent.
Sorry, that's
this weekend was the most exploitive thing I've ever seen in my life. I've never, ever, to the point where I'm just like, I can't even say I'm a fan. I'm still always going to love it from when I was a kid, and you know what I mean? There'll always be a place with me with the original Kiss and Kiss Live 2 and that, that old school Kiss stuff. But when you see the exploitation take place at a thing that's supposed to be a fan celebration, which is what Chiller Theater started out as. I've been going to Chiller Theater my whole life. My dad used to take me there when I was a little kid, and I've watched it go from this like celebration where it's like you go and it's like
to exploitation,
a love fest, to like this just straight up exploitation. And I'm just gonna point out some of the things. Ace Frehley's list.
This is absurd. Price
list, okay. This is a price list. We'll post it down there on the screen so you can see it. So now, okay, if you wanted a guitar signed by Ace, if the guitar is worth more than $1,000, then it's $1,000 to sign it. If it's worth under $1,000, he'll sign it for $500. So now someone's going to stand there and go, I think that guitar is actually worth like $1,500, so now it's going to be $1,000 to sign that. I mean, $1,000 to scribble on a guitar.
That's ridiculous.
I don't know. And the fact that it goes by the price.
How petty can you be?
If you want a 8x10 signed, you know, that's going to cost you, you know, $50. But if it's the next size up, 11-14, that's $60. And it just goes up from there.
If you want some stars and moons and Saturn.
Yeah, if you want, you know, a guitar strap sign, that's $500. If you want, you know, just an album CD 8-track or an 8x10, that's $60 for an autograph. If you want, you know, something that he considers to be a premium item, which would be a poster, 11x14 photo, boots, action figures, whatever, mini Les Paul style guitar, pinball machine parts, whatever, that's $100 to sign that. So if a kid brings him an action figure, it's $100. A little kid that sees $100. But if you bring him a CD or an album, it's $60. Why is there a fucking price difference? Scribble is scribble. It doesn't matter what thing you're putting the scribble on. You're going to literally, oh, you got an action figure, like a Funko Pop little kid? Well, then I want $100 for that. You know what I'm saying?
Doesn't care.
Dude, that, you know, and then, okay, so you're already paying between $60 to $100, depending on the item you want signed. So if you want your name
Unless it's a guitar, then it's...
Yeah, it's $1,000. But if you want your name on it, that's $10 more. If you want a song title, that's $10 more. If you want an inscription like, you know, make me feel better or whatever, right? That's another $15. And if you want stars and planets, that's another $25. I mean, when does it fucking stop? Every little thing he scribbles is 25,
because you
15,
know what?
10, 10.
There's always going to be a long-ass line of people willing to hand out that money to him. Even though he's going to treat them like shit and extort them, there's always a line.
Yeah.
So it's like, you know, if somebody's willing to pay you you know, you're getting thousands and thousands of dollars, probably a 6-figure day for him, easily.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of money.
Just, you know, and it's like, he does it because he can. Because people enable it. Well, yeah, like, it's... I don't understand how people have the money to do this, honestly.
Well, then you get into... you get into the photos, you know, when you take a photo with him. Now, you can't use your own camera. You gotta, like, have his guy take the picture, and then you can download it off of his website later on.
It's just stupid.
So, you know, for one person in the photo, that's $75. If there's 2 people in the photo, so if you and I get a photo with Ace, that's $100.
Now, mind you, he's not getting up.
Yeah, he just sits there.
He sits at his table with his sunglasses on and just goes...
But if there's 2 people in the photo, then it's $100. If there's 3 people or more, then it's $125. So it just goes up. You know, it just doesn't stop.
Bring your entire fucking family.
Yeah, and bring your whole fucking credit card, too, and just max the thing out. So, I mean, but for me, the most exploitive thing I can't even understand or fathom or wrap my head around is the fact that he's selling his socks. And the socks, Ace Frehley's socks, and they're $3,500 for a pair of fucking socks.
Dude,
Ace's
you could find
socks.
a pair of socks that fucking Albert Einstein wore, and they wouldn't be worth that.
Yeah, $3,500 for socks. But to make it, to just put the cherry on, which is that's insane to begin with. But just to really put the cherry on top of that, if you want to personalize your socks, okay, and add up to a 6-word maximum. So if you want to personalize your socks, you buy the socks for $3,500. Ace will sign your socks. But if you want him to write an inscription, up to 6 words, it's an additional $500. So it would cost you $4,000 for him to write, "Take a rocket ride,
for
Ace Frehley."
An old man's used socks.
On some socks.
In a fucking frame.
Yeah.
You're gonna give him $4,000.
Yeah. Ace's socks. Dude, I don't know anymore. Like I said,
like, unless those 4 words are your fucking bank account numbers,
yeah,
I'm not giving you $4,000. It's not happening.
I don't know. When it just gets to the point where I just see exploitation taking place all the time. I could go on this tirade about so many different people because I see it.
It's not just Ace.
No, I walk by different, you know, celebrities and stuff, and you know, it's like $50 for an autograph, but if you want a Funko Pop signed, it's $100. You know, and then the price difference. Oh, you want me to write something on it? Well, that's another $25. I mean, dude, you can't feel good about it. You can never feel good about walking up to someone's table, throwing down crazy amounts of money just because you wanted them to write a little word on an item to take home.
Like,
I mean,
think about it this way: the minimum wage in a lot of places is like $10, and you're asking people for a half day's fucking work for an autograph. Let that sink in. People are struggling out there. The cost of living is higher than it's ever been, and the minimum wage is less than a third in most places of what it costs to just live comfortably. Not lavishly, like not even buy yourself anything, just pay your bills. And you expect a person to give you half a day's pay for just an autograph and you can't throw a fucking photo in?
Oh, the photo goes without it. My biggest thing. I understand. You know, some people want a photo, some people want an autograph, whatever. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, you know, obviously, and I'm totally all for everybody making money too. On top of it,
I understand that this
is a business. You should be paid for your time. You should be paid well for your time and compensated and everything else. And I totally fucking agree with that 100%. But when it becomes exploitation and you take advantage of your fans, that's when I have a huge problem with it. And there's no way that you can tell me that, well, an autograph. I charge $50 for this thing signed, but if you want that signed, then I want $100 to sign that. It should never be depending on the item you want signed, especially a $10 Funko Pop. That shit's gotta stop. It's completely out of fucking hand when people are like, oh, it's a Funko Pop. Well, then I gotta charge another $50 more. That's bullshit. But when it gets to the point, man, where you're selling your socks for $3,500 to your fans,
that's ridiculous.
And you gotta charge them to write a couple of stars and planets. These are your fans. They put you where you are. They gave you a life that fucking almost no one will ever know. Turned you into a legend, an icon, and there's no other way you can look at that other than exploitation. If you're charging extra amounts of money, $25 to put a couple of stars on something, or $3,500 for socks, and another $500 if you want them personalized. Just fucking stop. It's out of control. It's total exploitation and bullshit of the highest order. That's it. What's your thoughts on this subject? I want to know. Let's get into a discussion. Let's do this. Put it down there in the comment box below and let's talk. Is it exploitation? Are you totally cool with it? Do you think it's worth every penny? You know, I want to know. Let me know down there in the comment box below. We'll see you soon for another episode. And spend your money wisely, kids.